Eagles! It's game day. It's game day. Wow. Where to start? Where to start? Let me first and say that tonight is a critical point in the Philadelphia Eagles season, organizationally, and also when it comes to potentially what you may or may not do when it comes to the postseason. We've had a pretty interesting weekend, to say the least, here. And I want to say this right out of the gate here. I've talked to many of the Philadelphia Eagle players. I just shown Tone a text message that I got from Darius Slay. Yes, Darius Slay. And I want to go in chronological order in how this weekend panned out in all the news that has happened and how it impacts tonight's football game. By the way, just so you know, again, I just showed Tone this. And by the way, Darius Slay is going to try to join us someday this week. And we appreciate it. And when he does, Darius sent me, we had a nice conversation. We spoke. He wanted to set the record straight. So let's go in order here. First, Slay wanted to set the record straight with me. I'm not an asshole. Here, and I'll read you the text. People never pulled up the entire clip. This is referencing when he said, I played great and everyone else sucked. Only parts of the podcast that pays me always want me to give detail on how I played so fans can live in a player's world. But for dang near the entire show, I talked about team. I talked about us as a unit. He goes, I was kind of saying it in a bit half-heartedly. And I said, that's fair. And I appreciate he didn't have to reach out to me. But he felt compelled. Get this, he unblocked me and then wanted to reach out to me, and we spoke. I think that was big of him. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, he could have reached out to anybody, but he reached out to me. Look, I'm not apologizing. I said that I would be fair. Okay? I said I would be fair. Now, obviously, Denny goes and has arthroscopic surgery. And arthroscopic surgery doesn't mean he's lost for the year, but he's gone for tonight. That's a big miss, not having him on the field against Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Okay, so that's news number one, is that Darius Slay and I are on talking terms, and he's going to try to jump on the program, and we'll have a frank conversation. Okay? Again, one more time. Nobody's apologizing. He's not. I'm not. He just wanted to set the record straight. Okay. Hurts downgraded. If we hear any news on tonight, he's ill and he's got an illness, we'll further that along to you. But as of right now, I'm assuming he's playing. I would have no other indication that he's not playing. Illness? I mean, seriously, that's for him to be quarantined away from the other players. He must be really sick for them to do that. Okay. Rocksteady goes, Geno's not starting. I wouldn't take anything for granted right now if you're the Eagles. Your organization is wobbling. I concern myself with me right now, and not so much about the Seahawks stuff. I wouldn't be worrying about anything in Seattle. I'd be worrying about the enemy within. So don't be throwing shit out there about, well, Seattle doesn't have that. Don't worry about Seattle right now. You got enough concerns. We're going to talk about tonight's game, and I'll tell you what I see and how I see this game tonight. Then, the absolute bullshit theatrical play that the Eagles put on last week was exactly what I told you they were doing. They were setting the table for something. I didn't know. By the way, when I had a conversation on Friday with Tone, I said this was for Nick. For some reason, it was for Nick. Now we know. Nick Sirianni had no say in this demotion, firing of Sean Desai at all. On a Tuesday, he's telling us, I have every guy in the building, and he said there'd be no changes. By the way, let me back up for a second. I don't have a problem with you making a move. I have a problem with the way you handle it. And by the way, if I was a local sports guy and a beat writer that covers that team, I would be so pissed off at the Eagles that it's more important to give Jay Glazer and Adam and all those national guys the news before your local guys who put their heart and soul each and every single day into covering your team. What a slap in the face. This is the second year in a row that Bob Lang and the Eagles do business backhanded when it comes to their local media people. Last year in the playoffs, we learned that Jalen Hurts couldn't lift his arm through Peter King. Then this year, we get on Sunday that the DC's been fired. Nobody locally had it. Hey, you can have all these guys bullshit you and hey, well, we've been hearing. That's not true. They're covering their ass because they got scooped. The Eagles, they bullshit the local media and are truthful with the national media because they're more worried about the national perception of how they're seen than they are locally. They know they can control the local media because you know why? You don't want to play ball? We'll take our team right off your radio network or your TV set. We run this thing here. We set the table. They completely show you, without a doubt, they have complete control of the local media in Philadelphia. It's actually a disgrace. Again, I'm not pissed off they made a move. Not late in the year, you can bitch about it. You know, you're in the driver's seat, kind of, so to speak. San Francisco's probably in a better position. We'll see what happens this week against the Ravens. You get past Seattle, I think you've got a clear sailing, potentially to a 14-3. So you fire a DC and you go 14-3. That's not panic. Hey, again, you're not scooping me because I know who you are. You got to understand something about the PR department in Philly. I knew Bob Lang from San Francisco. I know how he does business. I know how they do business, man. I've known that guy for 15 years. I think you fired the wrong coordinator in my book, but hey, I'll make a point to that here in a minute. I mean, thank God it's Seattle tonight, which is not going to be an easy putt for them. Slay's out. Juergens is out. Cunningham is out. And you got a sick quarterback. Damn, dude. That's how you go about your business. The way you put that theatrical thing on. Hey, from now on, anytime they pull all that bullshit out there like that, practices on Thursday, Jalen doing up downs, make the coach look like he's got complete control of the team, then you fire your D coordinator the next day. Come on, man. Or on Sunday, on the eve of a Monday Night Football game. That organization, the enemy within. Hey, I'll say it one more time to you. If you remember right at the beginning of the year, I said to you that Sean Desai was going to have an absolutely tough time of it this year because he's not going to have the same personnel and you're playing better quarterbacks. And it's exactly how it played out. I have not been wrong on one thing this year with this team, especially on the defensive side of the football. I was on the dot, the green dot, with Nadine. I said that guy wouldn't make the year and he will be a disaster. From March, I said that. Gannon's going to look 10 times better because he played shitty quarterbacks last year and the 31st week of schedule. Desai's going to be the scapegoat. He is the scapegoat, by the way, for Howie's failures. What an absolute disastrous failure year for Howie Roseman. Both coordinator hirings, terrible. The linebacker position, garbage. Dean, faith in the wrong guy. Lack of cornerback depth. Lack of edge depth. I mean, 12 new faces in first-year roles on your coaching staff. Complete almost turnover in your coaching staff. I mean, how much is this Desai's fault? Honestly, how much of it is Sean Desai's? Wow, you guys are going way over the top. That's player accountability, too. Those players are playing the best they can. The defense is not going to play any better. That's what it is. You're blaming Sean Desai for a JV defensive football team. Should they play better? Get this. I heard that guy Selski talking about guys not lining up or playing a play right. That's not scheme. That's reps and not knowing what to do because you haven't seen it enough. There's a reason those linebackers were all cut. You could tell a player all you want where to line up and who to cover. If he doesn't have that skill set to do it, it doesn't matter what you tell him. He's not good enough. You guys are looking at Sean Desai like when you look at a batting instructor and blaming him for Bryce Harper's woes and not having a good year hitting. That's Bryce Harper. It's not a batting instructor or a hitting coach. No. I'm not saying 357. I'm not saying the move is bad. I'm saying the way they went about their business doing it. It's more important for the impression in how it looks and how they did this. And here, you want to know what dysfunctional is? Let me give you the definition of dysfunctional. I'm firing the defensive coordinator and his play calling duties. Yet I'm not taking the title away from him. I'm giving him to Matt Patricia. Yet not calling him the D coordinator, and he will make all decisions in game when it comes to play calling. And we're not going to call him D coordinator, and we're going to keep both guys on the staff. That's dysfunctional. Why can't you cut it clean? Cut the umbilical cord. You're out. Get out. Jesus criminy. Dude, the lack of leadership shows you exactly what's wrong with that team. Nick Sirianni's a librarian. From day one, I've told you that, and I'm sticking to that. Hey, man, we got our guy. Come Sunday, he's fired? Guy's a bullshit artist. But yet, you know what? You paint this out to be something it's not. Say what it is. Why are you trying to make a narrative into something that you're looking at into something else? You had a coach come out when asked explicitly, are you making any changes? Shit, people thought Nick Sirianni was going to take over the play calling. No, we're good. We got our guys. I'm very comfortable with our guys. Brian Johnson's doing a good job. Sean Desai's doing a great job. Those were words. I'm paraphrasing. In a matter of 3 days, that changed. That's because the powers above came down and said, I had enough. The owner said, I've had enough. He panicked. This is a panic move. Okay? Okay? This is what they did to Doug Peterson. Isn't it funny how it unraveled after the 17th season with a couple glitches? Hey, by the way, you destroyed a quarterback in Wentz, and he wasn't strong enough to dig his way out of it. What impact does this have on Jalen Hurts and his development? Let's not try to destroy him also because of your meddling and incompetence with shitty hires. I mean, this is history repeating itself. Okay? Someone goes, Sean Desai's not Doug Peterson. That's what makes it even more obnoxious why you fired Doug. You did the same thing to Doug you're doing to Sean Desai. You made an overnight decision. That's why these coaches are expendable. When you're hired in Philly, you got an end date, and that sand dial gets turned on you immediately. No matter what you do. Remember this, the day you are hired, there is a due date for you to be fired in Philly because nobody in that building above the coaching staff is going to be fired. How about the analytics guys? How come nobody gets fired in that department? How come nobody gets fired in the scouting department? How come nobody gets fired in Jeffrey Lurie's department? All the coaches get fired. What about the analytics guy that gave Desai? You had players like Kevin Byard coming out going, hey, maybe we could put our own information together. That was a telltale sign that they weren't getting proper intel. Where were the coaches getting it from? Frank Reich said it. Analytics guys. How come nobody gets fired in the analytics department or the personnel department? Because they're Howie's guys. Just like Howie doesn't cut his guys. Every single thing I've pointed out to you. By the way, I disagree with 99.9% of the people that cover your team. The key fob's important. Can I tell you this? The guy who did the best job over the weekend was John McMullen. John McMullen did the best job. I listened to John. John was as good as you can get. Birds 365, John is as good as, John did a great job over the weekend. The rest of them, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I heard a guy actually say that Nick is has more of a pushback than Doug. How could that be when you were kissing the ass of your coordinator? Hey, if that's the case, why didn't Nick fight for Desai? Desai staying on the staff is now a distraction. Get this. Shit, man, at the beginning of the year, we thought Matt Patricia was a distraction. Now it's reversed. Hey, by the way, how much impact did Patricia have all year long on the defense? Or did he not? What was he doing? Didn't he have any accountability in this? He was a senior assistant to Sirianni. It's just all over the place. So you keep a guy on your staff that you humiliated. Is that right? That's dysfunctional. That's people who don't make clear-cut decisions. That's corporate company shit. So you demote a coordinator in week 15. Again, it's not the fact that they want to make some changes. It's the same shit how they took away the offensive play calling from Nick Sirianni. They just yanked it away from him. Nick gave it up. Only seven weeks on the job. Yeah, okay, sure. How dumb is that take? We called this from the beginning. If Desai slipped once, he would be cut for Patricia. Patricia was a safety blanket all along. So get this. That's tone. How about this one then? So once you named Sean Desai your defensive coordinator, you already were hedging your bets at the beginning of the year because you didn't really like the hire. So you brought in Patricia. Talk about lack of conviction. What, you don't think the players saw that too? The organization didn't have conviction in Desai. Because you know what they did? They hired a babysitter and Matt Patricia in case the guy fell out of the crib, and he did. Or they pushed him out. That's how you hire a coordinator? And you know what you can do? No wonder Fangio wanted no part of the Eagles. The way they do business, that's not cool. See, you could do that to a young coordinator like Desai. You can't do that to a veteran coordinator. Okay? There's LJ coming to the rescue of like the total mouthpieces in Philadelphia, like nothing's a problem, and that he loves the bullshit. There's a portion like LJ who doesn't think that this is insulting all around to the players. To like, get this, you don't have to tell the media anything, but you don't have to lie. I mean, what's the point in lying? What's the point of lying? Changes? Why don't you have some conviction with your change? LJ goes, changes happen all the time. Really, how many jobs have you ever been in where you were demoted, they elevated a guy below you, and you stayed in the building? I can't think of one job that ever happened to me. How about you? Hey, we're taking all your responsibilities away and hiring the guy under you. Right? Hey, don't worry about it. The guy who's been watching over you, your babysitter, he's taking your job. That's right, man. Hey, I have more gosh dang respect, like Tone just said, if you just plain out fired me. Instead of this half-ass sideshow, which the Eagles are known for. You guys buy into all this, or not all of you. Some of you guys buy into this bullshit. I never have. Ever since they sent me those text messages about how they wanted me to talk about Nicky Scarfo. Oh, excuse me. Nicky Sirianni. If Desai becomes a coach of another team, the Eagles get compensation pick. Perhaps that's a reason. That's not a reason they did that. Okay? It's about to happen when Tone takes your show. I love how LJ says that when they gave me an extra hour. Think about what JAKIB did in the Krauses. LJ's talking about my show being taken from me, and they gave me an extra hour and a raise. That's right, LJ. Talk about dumb. 4 hours, guy. 4 hours. Nobody does what I do. And by the way, he is a star, and he should get his own show. Dude, aren't you upset by the way your organization... You know what's going to stop you from winning back-to-back opportunities at Super Bowls? Is your own internal enemy. Something I've been telling you for the entire year. How about this? The players are winning ball games in spite of the chaos behind them. It's not fair to decide how many times will ESPN show him in the booth tonight. Got in front of the country. Yeah, you're going to. So get this. Here's the guy who's been demoted. Sean Desai, congratulations. There's the guy they demoted. LJ is an unpaid Eagle PR intern. Dude, honestly, who cares? Appreciate that, though, Shooter. No, you got a portion of your organization. LJ was the same kind of guy telling me that Kobe Dean was going to be a superstar. Or that defense was going to be just as good this year as it was a year ago. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. It's got too much airtime as is. He's done for the day. You could put your little aluminum foil hat on now, sit in the corner there, boss. We're good. By the way, I want to do this. I do not want a balanced football game tonight. I do not want a balanced football game. Not at all. Okay? Not at all. I do not want a balanced at all attack tonight. I want to have a one-sided football game. One-sided football game tonight. I don't want balance. I don't want anything. I want you to win the game. I don't want 25 passes and 25 runs. I want 100 runs and 7 completions. I want to win the game. I don't care about balance tonight. You give me one-sided tonight against a horrible run defense, you'll win the game. You start throwing the ball around, you'll lose the game. I'm going to get to what I think happens tonight. Last night, Joe Brady showed you exactly how to win a football game. That has been an upgraded coordinator. The Bills look like the team to beat in the AFC, and that's the team I picked to go to the Super Bowl because that team, when playing like that, is scary. Hey, Sills, other than moving money around, should Howie be put back in the closet, or is Lori scared to give control and not have another Chip Kelly? Dude, that organization will always be run by that guy, and that guy will always end up running that organization. You'll have peaks and valleys. You'll never have consistent winning. It'll be like this. You know why? He has to have control completely of the personnel and the purse strings. He spends no money on, very little, any money on defense, all the money on offense, because that's what the owner wants. Dude, you're so predictable in your organization on how you do business. It's not that hard to figure out what and how you do business. And the theatrical plays that you put on to send a message, you telegraph everything you do. It's not very well concealed how you do business. Okay? Someone, you get this. Jerry Jones. Okay? Jerry Jones doesn't get to Super Bowls anymore. Okay? Because he wants to do things his way. Howie Roseman doesn't win Super Bowls because Howie Roseman didn't win that Super Bowl. Doug Peterson did. Sorry, Howie. I know you want to put your name on every ring that was made that year. And this is why his insecurity is as high as it is, to try to erase the Boston Scots off the roster and all that other shit. He erases Doug Peterson's name as much as he possibly can. And Chip. That's why they honor Deshaun Jackson and they do all that other dumb shit. Howie Roseman has his insecurity complex when it comes to Doug Peterson because Doug won that Super Bowl. Doug coached that team. He's the one that coached that team. He's the one that put the team in a position to win. And then he had to answer for winning. Think about that. So you have to answer for beating Chicago by 2 points. You have to answer Probably for Philly. Howie went along for the ride. Howie went along for the ride and taking it. You know what he's doing? Howie Roseman went along for the ride and he's taking full credit for the 17 Super Bowl. You know how he did that? Firing Doug. Tom Brady, 75% responsible for the dynasty in New England. 85% responsible for the 17 Super Bowl with Doug Peterson. Howie gets the other 15. You know why? Because you fired him. And you sabotaged him. You were so insecure, you sabotaged him. If you'll put that theatrical plan like you did last week, you'll sabotage anybody to make it look good for you. Nobody ever gets fired in the personnel department, ever. Ever. Analytics guys have been around for 16 years. That's by design. Somebody said, still talking about 17? Yeah, because you know why? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. The way you operate hasn't changed. Yeah. Inferior coaches. Yes men coaches. Babysitters. You hired a babysitter for a guy who was the third choice at D coordinator. I mean, remember we went on here going, why is Matt Patricia here? Howie was the caboose on that championship run. Doug was the engine. That's a fact. Yeah, let me do this. I didn't finish this. I didn't finish this guy's failures. He fires the D coordinator the eve of the Monday night game. Couldn't replace Gardner Johnson. And now he's telling you it's coaching. You know why he's telling you it's coaching? Do you know why that narrative with all the Philadelphia media people? You know why? Why do you tell me why you think that narrative has to be it's Desai's fault mainly? Why? Because those are Howie's players. Those are Howie's players. Someone has to be the fall guy. And he's publicly embarrassing him to show you that. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. You embarrassed yourself for no reason. Howie hired everything on that defense. The coordinator, the assistant coaches, brought in the players, drafted them, and it's Sean Desai's fault. With inexperience and players who are not good enough to play. Whoever thought you have 3 linebackers on your football team that were cut this year? You had one guy in Christian Ellis who started for you, and you whacked to make room for Shaq Leonard. Who wins Super Bowls? I heard that McClain guy talking about, well, you know, really don't have to put a lot of emphasis on linebackers. You know, that's a little overrated. And then he points out the fact that Fred Taylor was taken in the 3rd. Yeah. Lynch landed on a gold mine in the third. When's the last time Howie has ever landed on a gold mine with a linebacker in any round? Greenlaw and Warner are the best duo in the league, and they weren't first rounders. It contradicts it. You contradict it. That entire Legion of Boom that Dan Quinn, Gus Bradley, and Pete Carroll built were built off of non-first round draft choices. They landed on draft picks. Yeah, here. Thank you, Arthur. Nakobe Dean's a third rounder. So was Fred Taylor. Who hit on his backer? Perfect. Thank you, Arthur. The Niners draft Fred Taylor in the third. And the Eagles draft Nakobe Dean in the third. What a chaos weekend for them. What a chaotic weekend for the Eagles. Complete chaos. And self-inflicted. Oh, and you got a game tonight. Here's how I see the game playing out tonight. Both quarterbacks go into the game questionable. Okay? Geno Smith most likely not going to play. Last week, Drew Lock threw for 22 for 31, 260, 2 touchdowns, also had 2 picks in the game. I believe that was against San Francisco. Eagles defense now is 23rd against the pass. You're terrible. Hey, get this. Hey, well, Drew Lock's starting. Geno's out. So you suck against everyone. You make it sound like you're good. Okay, so it's a push. Drew Lock, terrible quarterback, versus your shitty secondary with no Slay. Okay, it's a push. Oh, wait, it can't be a push because they got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and the rookie kid. They actually got a better wide receiver room than you as a group. Who's your 3 guy? I mean, here's something to think about, too. The Philadelphia Eagles defense, I'm sure this is Sean Desai's fault, is 48.1% on giving up first downs on third down. Dead last in the league. That's his fault? How about make a play? No Slay hurts. Pro Football Focus had him at around 70% when it came to his ranking, 70, 68.8. That hurts, man. That's right, Rocksteady. Sean Desai doesn't make tackles or miss tackles. So worst tackling football team in the league. Here's what I think happens with the difference with Patricia. Hey, by the way, let me ask you something here. This is just a theory of mine. Isn't it funny the first day that Matt Patricia becomes the play calling D coordinator, Slay's out. Probably coincidence. You think we see Slay again? Had a conversation at the beginning of the year. Everything okay? Remember I said this. You think we see Slay again? Out of nowhere. Arthroscopic surgery on the first day in game that Matt Patricia is the play caller. You think there's something to it or no? You think that's what? Just coincidence? Because the Eagles do things above board. No, I'm asking a question. No, I said it's a theory. But don't you find it ironic that the first game that a guy has to stop DK Metcalf, the best cover corner's gone? Emergency arthroscopic surgery? I've never heard of that, actually. I mean, I'm sure all of you out there probably reading it different. Nah, it's just coincidence. Matt Patricia traded him when he was the head football coach of the Lions because he said he wasn't a good cover corner and a good press corner. And now he's not playing tonight. Hey, I don't know. Or maybe Slay didn't want to play with him. Maybe Slay didn't want to play. That's why he had it. I would not call the surgery an emergency. Oh, so it's not an emergency surgery? You just decided to have it? Oh, okay. So once you got the heads up that Sean Desai wasn't going to be play calling and you're Darius Slay, and you know that he wants to play more press because that's what he does, because that's what he did in New England, you have surgery. That's a solid move. Maybe Slay didn't want to play for Patricia. He's been managing the knee all year. Now he's having surgery. Coincidence? Okay, just atone. Sure. I'm sure. Because those two guys have a wonderful relationship. I know, Tone. Tone's agreeing with me. All year long, he could have had that arthroscopic surgery. He could have did it next week when you don't need him against the Giants. But I'll do it against Seattle because I got to go against DK Metcalf. Woo! Come on now. Say it with me, you pancake. No, say it with me. You Philly cheesesteak eaters, say it with me. So who's more likely? Slay didn't want to play for Patricia calling plays, or Patricia didn't want Slay? Shit, after that whole theater play last week, I believe anything. Woo! How about Darius Slay going to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and Robert Bailey telling little Sills a little thing, or maybe Slay saying something, I don't want to play for this guy. Making that up, Sills. Yeah, just like, You mean Nick made up the fact that he was comfortable with his coordinators on Tuesday? 3 days later, he fired one of them? Like that above board? Again, I'm not pissed off at the move. I'm pissed off how you get there. I'm upset how you got there. You're not honest. That's what happens when you have people above. Instead of the main rooster in the hen house making the decision, that's when you're running your football team from the owner's box instead of from the locker room. That's the disconnect you get. Philly goes, is this guy an Eagle fan? No. I don't have a favorite team. That's why I give you fair and unbalanced. Sometimes. Anybody who gives fair and balanced, that parades himself as a journalism, that's not what I do. I give you my take. Funny how running the ball actually works. Football is entertaining, but it's first about winning games. When did winning not become entertaining? JH, your owner is like a theatrical guy. He loves the theater of everything. You think last night completing 7 passes and running the ball for 40? Hey, let me ask you this. If they had played against the Cowboys the way the Bills did, and remember what we told you, how you beat Dallas? You got to run the ball. Micah Parsons is soft. He had no tackles in the game. He's soft. I told you that. They ran at him the entire night. He's soft. Lurie's a Hollywood guy. He loves. That's right. He's ecstatic. He does. He totally does. Dude, would Nick Sirianni, tone everyone, would Nick Sirianni have to answer for a game plan like the Bills ran at Dallas last night? Would he have to answer for that game plan even though they won 31-10 and they completed only 7 footballs? Think about that. They threw 15 passes. 15 passes. Would Sirianni have to answer on how they won that game? By the way, that game was not competitive. That game was not competitive. Philly could have did the same shit. The Eagles have the same. The Eagles not only have the same, but probably better personnel than what Buffalo does. By the way, man, I'll tell you something. When Josh Allen plays like that, Josh Allen, get this. Let me show you something that's even more obnoxious. Josh Allen last night, having only completed 7 passes, was spectacular last night in how he ran that football team. Because he wasn't worried about statistics, nothing. He found a weakness in Cowboys, and he isolated on it, and they stuck to their guns. Low percentage turnover plays, ran the ball, won the game, kept themselves in the playoff hunt, and blew out the Cowboys. I mean, who cares? That's how you win a ball game. Hey, there's no style points in the NFL on how you win. That's only in the upstairs owner's box in Philadelphia. 7 completions and destroyed one of the hottest teams in the league and a team that just cleaned your clock. They cleaned Dallas's clock. Patricia's probably going to do the one thing that he's known for. There'll be a lockdown on DK Metcalf tonight. But with who? You don't have a guy back there in your secondary that's capable of covering him. I think Tyler Lockett's probably going to have a gargantuan game. I don't give a shit if they bring Jim Zorn out of retirement. I mean, he's going to have a big game. All you have to do is throw a 3-yard pass. And do you think they're all of a sudden going to change the way they cover receivers? You think they're going to crowd the ball more? Or they're going to play 10 yards off the ball more? You're going to have to play even deeper off the ball because you have lesser talent. I mean, you have lesser talent going into this game versus exceptional wide receiver talent. The Seahawks are superior to you on the numbers defensively without Slay out there. They're superior to you. DK Metcalf. So, you think Bradbury's covering him? He'll eat him up. I don't. All you have to do is throw him a 2-yard pass, and he'll out-muscle him. Again, if you have Tyler Lockett, I would think a Sam Howell game plan is going to be in effect. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. They're going to be open. I mean, they're going to be open. Right? I mean, Washington has inferior talent. Hurts is ill. And to what extent he plays will be the factor in this ball game tonight. Once again, Seahawks can't stop the run. But because there's a directive from the owner not to run the ball anymore, you'll make the game close. The general manager and the owner don't want to run the ball. So you'll play right into Pete Carroll's hands. They can't stop the run either. I would run the ball 55 times tonight. Hurts is ill. You've got chaos in your locker room right now. Settle it down with a win. Calm it down. Thank God Hurts is there. Barb goes, Danny, Seattle isn't good. Neither's your defense. It's the worst in the league. You're making it sound like you have studs on defense. You have nothing but Carter and Reddick. The rest of them have been below average. All of them. Every single one of them. You're making it sound like you're good on defense. You're the worst football team on third down in the National Football League. Teams are completing on third down over 75% completion. That doesn't matter who's quarterbacking. All year. Here's how I have it. I have it 29-20 Eagles if Hurts plays. If he doesn't play, Seahawks win this game 26-24. So I'm going to land on one of these right now, and I'm going to assume, okay? I'm going to assume Hurts plays 29-20. Philly late. Hurts has to play for them to win. If he doesn't, they won't win. $29-20, Eagles. I do want to throw the caveat out. Somebody just said, how's the Seahawks O-line? How's your D-line? I mean, do you think you can keep an opponent under 100 yards rushing? That might be a start. Annette goes, Sills, you want us to win? Come on now. I don't want you to do anything. I'm telling you what I think happens. I want you to win. I don't want anything. Except the new laptop. Mine keeps shutting off. How much damage do you think this bullshit has been on Hurts' development this year all around the organization? With the train. Hey, by the way, let me ask you something even more important now. If they've done this sabotaging to Sean Desai, is Brian Johnson next? Say they have a poor showing tonight. Does Johnson get removed? You don't really believe that they just had a conversation on one side of the ball, do you? About the coordinators. They had a conversation about both coordinators. This was a decision that was made between two men. Then they brought Nick in probably to tell him what direction they were going. That's why the full padded practice Thursday, Hurts doing up and downs. By the way, they're setting Brian Johnson up next. He's the next pendulum. They could have brand new play calling people by the time they get to the playoffs. Sirianni could be back to being the play caller. And Patricia will be the defensive play caller. There you get a little more experience. It's not a bad idea. And then you bring Frank in as a consultant down the stretch for Nick. I don't think so because offense is top 10. The sad part, all of this, they are making a spectacle of themselves. This is tone talking. Coordinators get fired all the time. Absolutely. That's not the problem. Where's the courage of your convictions? Shit, they didn't have it, Tone, when they hired Desai at the beginning. If Desai was not getting the job done, just fire him. It's all good. Hey, right, stand by your convictions. You got to understand something, though. Howie's afraid to confront his failures. So what he does is he holds on to players too long. He doesn't fire those guys that he drafts. And if you're a homegrown guy, your chances of making the team and staying on the team are better than, say, if you were traded for or you're a UDFA. You know why Howie Roseman moved off of TJ Edwards the way he did? Sure, he developed him, paid him nothing, but he never drafted him. He found him. That's not good enough for him. He wants to he wants you to know. Because again, you know one thing you can say about Belichick? How many people say that Belichick, about Brady parachuted in to the Patriots? He did. Bill developed him, though. I like what you're saying, but they don't do it because the analytics says they're top. That's right. And by the way, where's Jalen in all this? Where's Hurts in this? Brian Johnson's next. They lose that game tonight, or it looks awful offensively versus, like Barb says, a very suspect Seattle team. Eagles are more secretive than the U.S. government. I think RTF, I think they telegraph all their shit. I don't think they're very good at what they do. Because to me, I saw it all last week. I had a conversation with my guy, Tone, and I was telling you, well, they're doing it for some reason, and I assumed it was for the coach, and it was. At the end of the day, you know what it turned out to be? They were planning to fire the D coordinator so the coach would still look in power. And you can have those bullshit narratives. Nick pushed back. Nick lies. Hey, but I told you that. Coaches lie all the time. It's not like, and plus he's a cheerleader. He's at the Walgreens picking up his prescription. Yeah. No balls to do anything with conviction. Take a look at your play calling on offense. All you need to know about convictions. Got too many voices. Hey, I'm telling you, you got too many voices in the building right now. That's what you got. Your general manager's not elite. Your general manager is an elite bullshit artist too. His best year was last year. 17. Oh, Dougie. Jim Schwartz. Frank Reich. 3 head coaches in the NFL under Doug. 85% Doug, 15% Howie. Howie Roseman, in my opinion, I will never give him credit for that Super Bowl. It's all Dougie. Go ahead, run it. You know what you would have had to have done? You guys ever see Ford versus Ferrari, that movie? You'd have had to take that file of the Philly special and run it through 19 floors before it got to the CEO, Henry Ford III. And while you're sitting there, you would have had to go through all the dead weight that you have in your organization to come to a decision after all those hands put their hands on whether or not that play would work or not. Then it gets to you. And this is what I say. Well, one day you'll figure it out. There's got to be one man that runs this thing. Okay? You can't run it, and you can't win Le Mans by committee. There's got to be one guy making decisions. You got that red file going through analytics, scouting, coaching. Finally gets to the owner. Nick did to Desai what he did to himself. Strip play. So you think Nick Sirianni, after 7 games, took the play calling duties away from himself? Yeah, because that's normal. I think because I should be the better man, we're 2-5. Here, Shane. Save us. What a dumb take. Hey, you said Howie deserved. No, I didn't. Oh, wait. Because of the Carter pick, yeah. And you know what we were led to believe? That all these moves that he made, and we all kept saying, wait a minute. No. I said it because of the way he constructed the Jalen Hurts contract. Yes, I did say that. Yes. Because you know what he did? Stroke of genius. Howie's a bookworm, not a personnel guy. 100% I said, you give Howie Roseman a raise for the way he constructed that $250 million contract. Absolutely true. Stroke of genius. As a personnel guy, he blows. Once again, Jalen Carter fell in his lap. I wonder what kind of play we're going to have tomorrow if they lose. Holy cow, you want to know? Hey, more heads will roll. Brian Johnson must be in fear of his job tonight. Would you not agree? Brian Johnson knows his time's coming too. Would you not agree to that? Would you not agree? Woo! Hey, Nick. Here, once again, before we take a timeout, Nick, I don't mind you, and Howie and Jeffrey, I don't mind you making a move. I mind what kind of connivers you are. Now I know you did sabotage Doug. Now I know how you run your thing. And the reason you didn't win a Super Bowl 10 months ago, you guys get in your way, man. Thank God Doug Peterson. You had Doug in the building. Shit. Nick Foles wasn't even a Howie guy. He was an owner guy. Joe's the wrong dude, man. Got a bunch of lawyers and accountants running this team. Correct. And you got too many voices, Q. You run this team like I told you that movie, like Ford Motor Company runs theirs when they're trying to make a decision on a paint job. 72 guys have to give their okay, and it goes through different opinions before it gets to any kind of person that makes a decision on it. And decisions are made at the Eagles by committee, not by conviction. That's why you're 10-3 and you don't act it. Get this. Do we not agree? The Eagles are 10-3 and they don't even act it themselves. Is that fair? You're 10-3 and don't act like it. You're 10-3 and don't act like it. Here. Arthur's so awesomely true. Best record in football last 2 years and nothing to show for it. Pretty standard. Best record in football. Great illusion. What do you have to show for it? Nothing. You ain't winning a Super Bowl. You're going to have the best record. Get this. You're going to be potentially, if Jalen plays tonight, 28-6 in regular season football without a Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Hey, oh, that's it. You're becoming the Bills of Jim Kelly's era. The only difference is, at least they got there. Congratulations to you, Rhonda, Jersey, Brian of Texas, our winners for our coupons with our Hooters folks here on a Football Monday. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much for being part of that during this December time. We want to thank our friends at Hooters. Again, January 6th, we're going to be back at King of Prussia. We're looking forward to that. 1-6, we will be back there, and I promise you I will get a Philly cheesesteak, Tone. I promise you. Tone's very down on me over that. Speaking of Tone, he'll join us at 3:30 Eastern. As always, we will have on Gary Cobb at 4:30. By the way, tomorrow at 4:30, Angelo Cataldi will be with us. And we will have him on with us. So, Tone will be with us here in a bit here at 3:30. And also Gary Cobb will be with us. That'll be at 4:30. Don't forget also the Sandy Bucks. They're there for you, $5. The gift cards, great stuff, stuffing stockers. Very good. Stocking stuffers for you to be able to put inside for your ones to have a great time when you go over to Hooters. The calendars are there, by the way. $100 gift cards and coupons are inside the calendars 2024. If you don't want to go into the places, HootersToGo.com. You can go to the app. You can get an opportunity to bring some of the best food. I had some food 2 Saturdays ago. It was absolutely spectacular. Military Mondays, 20% off all day military for all of you guys that served and women, our great country. You get 20% off all day long. Don't forget also the happy hours, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6, 6 items, $6. Try the fried pickles, northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. And when you roll in, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.